Attention campers, in today's all-camp event for the Superhero Badge, we will be covering Batman the Movie from 1966, Blade Trinity, Flash Gordon, Mystery Men, and Venom Let There Be Carnage. Joining me are Camp Councilors Carly Perkins and Clay Clouser. Additionally, as a reminder, please don't jump off the cabin roofs in an attempt to fly. In fact, please don't attempt to fly at all. And as always, it's going to be a great day at Camp Film Camp. Hello, and welcome to the new episode of Camp Film Camp. This week we're talking about superheroes. It's for the Superhero Badge. And we're all very, very excited to talk about these movies. Carly, how many of these were first-time watches for you?
I think four. 4 of the 5 were first-time watches for me.
Nice. And I know which one you had seen before, so that's where we'll get to that, but that's really cool. Clay, had you seen all of these, or were they some of them first time?
I had not. 2 of these were first-time watches for me.
Nice. These were all rewatches for me, but some of them I had not seen in decades, and I was very excited to revisit. One of them in particular I haven't seen in decades, and it just delighted the hell out of me. So I'm very excited to talk about these. So without any further ado, let's move on to our first movie, which is Batman the Movie from 1966. Now, Adam West was my first Batman, as he was for a lot of people. I think as we move on in the generations, the Adam West Batman TV show isn't re-airing on TV all the time, so it's becoming no longer people's first Batmans. But for my generation, at least, which I think you both are in, but on the other, like on the younger end of, in my generation, at least, he was our first Batman. Like, we learned about Batman through this campy 1960s Adam West Batman. And the movie is no exception. It's the same camp-filled romp with lots and lots of fun. Carly, this was a first-time watch for you?
Yes, I'd seen clips of it before, but it was the first time I watched it in its entirety.
Okay. Clay, had you seen this one before?
I had not. It was also a first time for me.
Oh, nice.
My first Batman was the animated series.
Right.
So my mom really enjoyed the show, so I'd seen a couple episodes of the show randomly, but I'd never seen the movie or followed it.
The Batman the Animated Series is the best Batman ever put on celluloid, so it's good that was your first first experience with it. But tell me, as first-time watchers, let's start with Carly. As a first-time viewer, how did you feel about Batman, the movie?
I love this so much. It was so much fun. It was so silly and cute, and like I love Batman's rogues gallery. So just getting his 3 of his biggest villains just kind of scheming together, even if it's very campy versions of them, was so fun. Like, I feel like most people have at least seen clips of the Some Days You Can Never Get Rid of a Bomb.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
And I didn't know that was from a movie. I thought it was from a TV show. If I'd known there was a Batman movie that covered that, I would have immediately watched it, just because that clip makes me think it's so cute. Like, the whole movie is just so much fun, and there's so many little gags and stuff in the background that you see. Like, I think there's fish food in the background of their lair at one point, and there's just so much I love about this. It's the silliest thing ever, and it's the best.
Clay, what has yellow skin and rights?
A ballpoint banana, obviously.
Clay, on your first watch, how did you feel about this film?
I loved this film. Spoiler alert, it was my favorite of the 5.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It was, I laughed start to finish. I had my wife suffer through some of these films with me as well. She loved it.
Nice.
I loved all the riddles because they're so terrible and they answer them so confidently.
Right. In the 80s and 90s, when we would watch the show on reruns, there was a question among many young people as to whether the show was to be taken seriously, if it was a bad show or if it understood what it was doing. I think you can't watch this movie without knowing that it knows exactly what it's doing.
And that's one of the reasons why I loved it so much. We'll go over it with some of the other films, but I feel like some of them had a little bit of an identity crisis, not knowing exactly where they were wanting to land. This one didn't. It from start to finish, it lands on every note. The instant costume lever, fantastic. Him not being able to figure out who Catwoman is when she's literally purring to him.
Right.
Just everything about it's fantastic.
What I love, and Carly had mentioned this before, the Rogues Gallery, Batman's Rogues Gallery is great anyway, but seeing all of them together like this, that's not something you get in the TV show. You'd get them, it'd be episodic. Every episode you get a different one, or every few episodes, because they kind of did a serialized thing where they would get like 2 or 3 episodes of one villain while he's covering that one case. Because at the end of an episode, you always had to have the will the boy wonder get out of this trap? Find out next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. And so you don't get that in this, but you get all of the characters there together. And I love every one of them. Frank Gorshin plays the Riddler, and Riddler, as many of you know, is my favorite Batman villain. And Frank Gorshin is my first Batman, is my first Riddler. I love him in all iterations though, but you're right, Clay, with the very, very bad riddles and Batman and Robin treating them as though, well, clearly this is, any logical person would come to the conclusion that we've come to out of this, is just incredible. Lee Merriweather is one of 3 people who have played Catwoman in that series. Eartha Kitt and Julie Newmar also played Catwoman in the TV series. But Lee Merriweather, I think this is her only time she ever played Catwoman. But she's incredible. I love all 3 Catwomen from the series and from the movie. But I think they're incredible. Burgess Meredith plays the Penguin. And one thing I love, when I was watching the Penguin series on Max, on HBO Max, right next door to an apartment, I don't remember whose apartment, but there's an apartment building, and right next door to it is Burgess Jewelry. Yeah, Burgess Jewelry, and that is a direct nod to Burgess Meredith, who played Penguin.
I went on a deep dive after watching this movie.
Oh wow, nice.
Just learning like random facts about the cast and stuff, and how like Cesar Romero did the Joker laugh so much that it changed his actual laugh. Like he lost his normal laugh and started laughing more like the Joker in real life. Yeah. The guy who played Penguin had quit smoking, and then they made him smoke for the show.
Yeah.
So it constantly made him cough. So he covered it up with the Penguin laugh. That's where he got the Penguin laugh, is just to cover up his coughing.
Yeah, and that has become like canonical. Like that's a sound that Penguin makes now because of that. So that's really cool. Cesar Romero famously refused to shave his mustache for the movie. So if you look closely, the Joker has a mustache underneath his white paint, which is amazing. But yeah, he's
being labeled Bat something. Just
okay. So can we talk about the Bat shark repellent for a second?
Yeah.
Shark repellent
obviously.
bat spray. I wrote
Yeah.
it down. So I was
How
like,
it's there.
it's beautiful.
It is there with like a bunch of canisters of various bat repellents.
Right, which I have here. There is the shark repellent bat spray, the barracuda repellent bat spray, the whale repellent bat spray, and the manta ray repellent bat spray. All of these on a bat copter.
Yes. Not on the bat boat.
Not on a boat, on the bat copter. Which is incredible and really lends to the campiness of this and the understanding that they know exactly what it is, because I think if you kind of look at the structure of this movie, it's almost like everything that happens is a result of the writers going, we need to solve this thing now, having not pre-thought about it, which I think is kind of what makes it so great. And if they had been wanting to take this more seriously, sure, they would have had a better structure with it, but they don't want to. They want it to seem like that's what's happening. And that's what's really great.
I mentioned that later in the film. I was like, why did they take the Batcopter in the first scene when they have the Batboat?
Right. Exactly. I was looking at my notes just now, and I have Batman's Heartbreak and two bullet points on it, French opera singer, and they have a conversation in front of Catwoman. I can't for the life of me remember what either of those things are referring to.
So at the end, when Catwoman gets unmasked and he realizes it's her, the opera starts playing in his head as he stares off into the distance. And then Robin starts to talk about it. And Robin's like, oh my God. And he's like, say no more, as it might be compromising. I'm like, you're still in front of her. You're now doing it.
Yes, that's right. They had that whole conversation about how, oh my gosh, this is your, like, just completely
holy heartbreak Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no reason that Batman should feel heartbroken about this woman, but yeah, it's very, very oh God, that's so good. I'm glad you remember that, because I was like, I have no idea why I wrote this down. So that's incredible. One of my favorite campy little moments in it, and it's a little detail that you can just I mean, it's very obvious, but you can just kind of look past it, especially because of how the whole thing is structured. But when they're down in their lab, working on fixing all the dehydrated world leaders, they're in there, all their lab gear, their white lab stuff and everything, but they do have their cowl and capes on still over their lab equipment. I love that so much. It makes me.
Speaking of little details that you might miss, one of the things that made me laugh a lot was when Robin and Alfred are following Batman. Alfred has a mask under his glasses.
Yes, absolutely. Oh man, but yeah, I've seen this movie many, many times. It's one that I absolutely love. I'm so glad that you two watched it, and more glad that you both loved it, because it might have been very sad for me if you hadn't. But before we move on to our next movie, do you guys have any other notes you need to bring up?
So at the end, is Robin suggesting eugenics, or am I misinterpreting what he's talking about with the people?
There's some slight racism with the whole UN situation.
Yeah.
Because he's like, we should make them better, Batman. I'm like, what are you suggesting here, Robin?
Well, like,
yes.
The Japanese guy is speaking Chinese and then turns into yellow sand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, ooh.
Yeah, there was definitely a product of the time in this movie. And you know, the thing is with that kind of thing, it was never right, but it was also not talked about enough for maybe a person who was not very socially aware to really understand it. So I get it. It is bad, but it also was 1966. So.
Yeah.
But yes, he was referring to eugenics, Carly.
And one thing I do love, I love how they have the little comic book sayings like on the screen during the fights where it's like pow, thwack, bap, bop. Like that is, I just died for happiness during that scene. That was so good.
That is famously from the TV series. One thing you'll notice is that when Bruce and Dick are fighting the bad guys, you don't get those. Only when Batman and Robin are fighting the bad guys, because there's a scene in there where they are not in costume, but they're fighting all the bad guys off. You don't get those. You only get them when they are in their costumes, which is a nice little touch.
And I do love Catwoman, like just pushing people off the boat in the fight at the end. I'm like, that's amazing, just for pushing everyone off.
Catwoman is a character that I love, and one of the things that I love about Catwoman in general is that she's not really a villain. It's more that she is a criminal, not necessarily a villain. It's similar to another anti-hero we'll talk about here in a little while, where they're not really a villain, but they're also not good. Like they still do the break the law. And that's one thing I've always loved about Catwoman. And so that's why I love things like in this movie, she's more of the distraction for Bruce Wayne and stuff like that. And then at the end, pushing people off the boat rather than being like part of the Batman fight, which I also really love that.
Mittens, sniff out the weakness. Cat just walked by the door.
Clay, did you have any other bullet points before we move on?
Just double check. I don't think I do. I think we've covered it all. Yeah, we've covered all my notes about it. Just fantastic film.
One last thing. I do love the beginning with the rogues when they're doing like the introduction where they're showing their names and they're all like colorfully backlit and all that. Like I absolutely love that. That's how the movie opens. It's amazing.
Oh, the thank you notes at the start of the movie.
That's what I was about to bring up.
I meant to mention that. Yes.
This film is for lovers of justice, and it's all so good. I don't want to have it right in front of me, but
we apologize to any lovers that we forgot.
Yeah, we apologize for any lovers that we forgot. Yes, that you also reminded me of a part that I love, which was when they are trying to figure out who's doing this, and the very specious connections they make that make them assume that it's the right, like they come to the right conclusions, but it's like this happened at C Catwoman. That when they're trying to figure out who did all.
One of them is Penguin. Why didn't the C go to Penguin?
Because they had already said it's fishy. Yeah. And fishy went to Penguin. But yeah, the shark was pulling my leg. Pulling your leg, the Joker. All right, Bat friends. We're going to move on to the next movie in our list, which is here, I'm just going to show it. It is Blade Trinity, and this is a movie that Clay and I have been friends for a long time, and one conversation we've always kind of had is that I hated Blade Trinity, and he loved Blade Trinity, and which is fine. I love when my friends love movies, even if I don't love them, so that's important. But he had challenged me many years ago to rewatch it with the thought of it being a comedy, and I was like, okay, I'll do that. Then I never got around to it. So when we started doing this, I was like, look, we're going to put it in here. We're going to see if there's some value in it in the camp for me, and then we can and then I can reevaluate it that way. Clay, I would like for you to start out because I do know that you really love this movie, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it and maybe some of your history with it.
So the first thing I want to say is I do love this movie, but I will also be the first person to tell you it is not a good movie. Okay. It is one of those movies that, even though it's terrible, I love it. Okay. There's a lot of nostalgia for it. Me and my mom watched it together and kind of like Mystery Science Theatered it almost while we were watching it. We still quote it all the time. Every time one of us is like, hey, have you seen this thing? And I'll be like, you tried The Lobby? Like, I love the one-liners in this movie. I love how absurd it is and how it makes almost no sense for like half the film.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when people are like, I hated that movie, I'm like, I completely understand. I love it.
You also developed a gentleman's crush on one of the stars, correct?
Yeah, I actually have a framed photo of Ryan Reynolds from this film that is signed that hangs above my bed.
Which is understandable. He's very funny and in this movie, and very ripped, pre-Deadpool ripped too. So like it's yeah. But Carly, was this a first time watch for you, or had you seen it before?
Yes, this was a first time watch for me. I believe I watched Blade, and I think I watched Blade 2, but I'm not completely sure. But I had never, I'd heard about Blade Trinity, so I was like, I'm good with Blade 1 and 2 until this.
Okay. Now that you have seen it, I'm going to get to my reevaluation of it. I'm gonna go last here. So I'd like to hear from you how you felt about this on your first watch.
So I feel opposite about Ryan Reynolds. I don't really like Ryan Reynolds. I sometimes do, like in Deadpool. I like him in Deadpool because he just. I just don't like his thing. Just kind of exhausts me a little bit, like his constant quipping, especially by the end of the movie. I'm just like, this is going to be offensive, but because it sounds like you guys love him, but I'm just like, I just want him to shut up. So I'm just like, oh my God, please stop with the quips. Please stop. Can you just be serious for like 5 seconds? And that's just kind of come. I mean, I like him in the Deadpool movies. I do. I don't know. He's very one note for me. I feel like he doesn't really do anything. This is his thing. This is the type of thing he does in movies, and he doesn't really do anything outside of that. So him being so much in this movie did drag it down a bit for me. I mean, I do love Wesley Snipes' Blade though. Like he always just elevates everything just because he's so cool. He's got that swagger. So I would say I liked this movie, but the plot was not there. And the Ryan Reynolds drove me a little bit crazy, but there are certain things that I did absolutely love. I do hate that they call Dracula Drake because I'm a big vampire Dracula fan. And I'm just like, don't stop it. Stop it. I don't like that. I don't like that very much at all. But yeah, sorry. That's a lot of rambling. I liked it, but did not like it a lot. Like probably just barely in the pasta for me.
Okay. Carly, I asked you on here and then you insult Clay's guy. Like, no, I'm just kidding.
It's okay. I agree that he's been somewhat typecast and he just kind of plays the same character a lot nowadays. But going into this, he hadn't really established that yet when this came out. Like, I think his big movie right before this was The Proposal.
The Proposal was after this. Van Wilder was his big movie before this.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
He hadn't really quite landed on that, like, I'm just going to constantly make jokes identity. So it was kind of fun for me for him to develop that role.
Listen, he's a bright spot in this movie for me. I think he's very funny. I can see how it would be exhausting. And as far as him in general, I don't have a problem with constant quipping. So he doesn't really exhaust me, but I could see that from someone about him. That's why he's perfect for Deadpool. Like he's just a perfect. He was perfect casting for that role.
Right, and I don't know why it doesn't bother me in Deadpool as much as other things. Probably because it's because it's what you're there for. Right. Deadpool just going to quip and be a little shit the whole time. While when he's just supposed to be the comedic relief and I'm not really finding him funny, it's different.
That would be difficult for sure. Okay, so before I get into my reevaluation, let me just talk about my original kind of feelings on this movie the first time around when I had originally seen it. Number one, I'm a big fan of Blade, the first Blade movie.
First Blade's a great film.
Big fan of it. Like Stephen Dorff as the big villain in that, he's so good. Donald Logue, just that whole cast is just so good, and it's so well stylized, and just it's really a lot of fun. I really like it. I like Blade 2. A lot of people will say Blade 2 is the best Blade film. I don't agree. I think that people are saying that because Guillermo del Toro directed the second Blade movie. And I think that there's a lot of really good Guillermo del Toro stuff going on, but not as good of a Blade movie for me. Also, I think Norman Reedus is overrated, so maybe that's probably part of it as well. But as far as this movie, when I went into it, I liked those two, and I'm coming into this one, and at the time, I'm a huge like wrestling fan. I'm like, Triple H is going to be in this. Very excited about Triple H being in the in a Blade movie. I did know Ryan Reynolds from Van Wilder. He was also in a show called Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, which he's also very quippy in, but it's a show that I really love. So I was excited for him. Jessica Biel, I don't have any opinion on her one way or the other, except she was in a show recently. Not recent. It's been several years. That show with Bill Pullman. Oh geez, I've forgotten what it's called. It doesn't matter. She was in it. She did have a series that she was really good in, and it kind of made me reevaluate her a little bit more. But I don't have an opinion on her. She's fine in the thing. So, but for the other reasons, because I love Blade and because I love, I was a fan of Ryan Reynolds, and I love Chris Christopherson as Whistler. I was very excited about all of that. So this movie comes out. I watch it, and I'm not enjoying it. I'll just say it there for a good portion of it. Number one, they keep trying to kill Whistler off, and then they finally do here, and then they replace him with, again, someone I don't care about at all, which is Whistler's daughter. And that was one thing. I also really like Wesley Snipes as the character of Blade. However, Wesley Snipes clearly did not like being the character of Blade in this movie. So you can kind of tell on that. So I'm like not loving it. I'm enjoying the Ryan Reynolds of it all. And then they're like, finally, we're going to get to see Dracula in this world. And I can't wait. It's exciting. Is that the guy from Prison Break?
It is the guy from Prison Break.
I know that. But at the time, I'm like, what? And so let me just tell you, for years, I've been like, is his name Dominic Purcell? Is that his name?
I believe so.
I've been like, I can't stand that guy. It wasn't until he joined the Arrowverse and I loved that character so much that I like got back on board with him. But at the time I was like, this is the Dracula they present to us, this guy. Now I've rewatched it.
That guy conquered ancient Samaria, okay?
I mean, that's true. And he's much, much cooler looking when he's in non-human form. So that would have been a really cool thing if they had made him as the big bad actually feel like a big bad. But now that I've rewatched it, number one, the fact that Wesley Snipes just hated it there is very entertaining. You can see all kinds of places where you're just like, oh yeah, this guy is not giving it his all. The Ryan Reynolds stuff, I still love. I can see how it can be a little bit much, especially in certain parts. And then Jessica Biel still means nothing to me in this movie. She's probably a lovely person. I'm not saying anything about her as a person. In this movie, she's nothing to me in it. I don't care about Whistler's daughter at all. But there are some really good like side characters that I was like, oh, I forgot about the blind
Natasha Lyonne.
Natasha Lyonne is the blind girl. She's really, really great. Watching it from a camp perspective, that's where Dominic Purcell shines. That dude is so full of camp in this film. It is every second he's on screen, it's like he is in a bad Shakespearean play speaking to the rafters. It's such a campy performance, and for that reason, I still don't like it. I no longer hate it. So
yes, victory.
we got there.
I think the same is true of the female villain. I can't remember her name
In this movie,
yes.
there was a female. Oh, Parker Posey. I don't
Yes.
remember the character's name, but yes, okay.
Every time she talks, I'm just like, so absurd. Like, why?
Yeah, she also she has that too, and I think that's kind of inherent in a vampire thing. If a vampire thing is being done right, I mean, there are more serious takes that would not necessarily be super campy, but I think in this type of thing, if you're doing vampire right, it's got to be pretty campy. And I agree. Parker Posey and Drake are both just hamming up the screen, and I love it. I love that about it. Carly, you hate that they call him Drake. How do you feel about that character in general?
And part of this is it's my first watch, so I'm going into it like you're going into trying to revisit it and like view it from a different lens. I was just experiencing it for the first time. Yeah, I didn't really like him. No offense, I love Dominic Purcell because I love him on Legends of Tomorrow. He's so much fun,
Yes.
but I don't know. I didn't really like it, and I wasn't really into Parker Posey's performance in this much either. But again, on a rewatch, I might be more into it. There are aspects of it I did really like, though, like the vampire dogs. It's
Pomeranians.
so ridiculous. It's so stupid, but like in the best ways. And I do love that point when like Blade's like motherfucker, and then Dominic Purcell's like motherfucker. Like they're just having a little motherfucker off. Like that scene, I love that. That scene is like amazing. So there are like little bright parts, little parts of it that I do like. I think I would need like a full rewatch to know how much it works for me, like viewing it from like more of a camp perspective. Mm-hmm. I do love near the beginning how his wanted poster just says Blade, not his name, just wanted poster Blade. I'm like, okay, that tracks. Yeah, why would it not just have that on the wanted poster? And I was surprised by the blind representation in this. I was like, that's really cool how one of the supporting characters is blind. I don't know how she works the computer because they were not using voiceover with the computer, but just having her there, I was like, that's pretty interesting for the time, because like that even today you don't have a ton of like blind representation in media and stuff. So like I thought that was cool, and you know I love Natasha Lyonne, so her playing the character I was also just like loving. So that I really she was my favorite character, Summerfield. I thought she was really cool.
Nice. Yeah. To answer your question, in the 90s and early 2000s, hackers, people who were good with computers had no need for seeing what was on screen or mouses or really anything other than typing really fast because that's all they had to do. They could do that and then it was fine. Don't worry about it is the answer.
If you're really wanting some great representation of that, just go to YouTube and look at like NCIS hacker clips. They're all golden.
Oh, a fun little anecdote about this film. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys have seen the unrated version, the extended cut. Clay, have you seen the extended version? Yes, of course you have. At the end of the extended version, it's different than the theatrical, because in theatrical, he turns into Drake, Blade turns into Drake, saying that Drake took his place. In the extended theatrical cut, Blade opens his eyes rather than that. So you know he's alive because he opens his eyes. A little anecdote about this is that Wesley Snipes was so difficult on this set. Number one, he wouldn't talk to anybody. He would only communicate through Post-it notes. He was always in his trailer, not talking to anybody, just handing out Post-it notes. That's the only way he would talk to anybody. When it came to this scene, or the very final scene of what I assume was supposed to be the original ending, and then that wouldn't work, so then they had to change it to the part where he turns into Drake. in that scene, Wesley Snipes refused to open his eyes.
They're painted on.
So they had to put his eyes opening, CGI or painted or however they did it there. But yeah, he refused to open his eyes. So for the eye opening, they had to add that later. And that's just, Wesley Blade was right. Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. But yeah, so I am ready to move on from this one. Do you have anything else to say about it, Clay?
Just slightly off topic, but Blade 1 is the best Blade movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think Blade 2 is the best vampire movie of the three.
Okay, I can do that.
And then Blade Trinity is its own special thing. Also, killing off Wesley 5 minutes into a movie should be criminal.
Yeah,
Whistler.
I agree. It's awful. And they tried to do that in the second one too. Like they killed him and then brought him back, but like at least they brought him back.
Yeah.
And the third one, they killed him off and then had Drake like be him for a second. And I was like, God, we already did this in the other movie where we brought him back. And then I was like, oh wait, it's Drake. And I was like, well, that's not cool. Like at least we get to see him, but it's whatever. Carly, do you have any last thoughts before we move on to the next one?
I do like the last line that the last point Drake makes about like how the thirst always wins. Like I think that's just a really interesting thing for him to end on. Like that's a really nice thing to haunt Blade with forever, is like the thirst will always win in the end. Like I thought that was really cool.
That should be a meme. We should get that going. The thirst will always win. But okay, so we are going to move on from Blade Trinity to the next film, which is Flash. Flash Gordon, which is the movie I hadn't seen in a couple decades. Oh man, I'm so glad we did this because I always loved it, but I didn't remember how much I loved it until I'm watching this movie. And number one, the soundtrack is completely by Queen, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. So I was very, very happy. I'm very happy to hear them throughout. Number two, one thing that I realized this time that I had never kind of realized before, I'm a big fan of Fiddler on the Roof, the musical Fiddler on the Roof. And in that, Reb Tevye is played by Topol, who plays the scientist who takes them into outer space in this movie. And this was literally the first time I ever made the connection that they were the same person in this. But also it's just so out there and so campy and so wonderful and so beautiful. And I love it very much. And I could go on for years, but was this a first time watch I know Carly, you had only seen one and I know which one it is. Clay, was this a first time watch for you?
This was a first time watch for me.
Okay. All right, guys, break my heart or don't. I don't know. Let's hear from Carly this time.
No, I liked it quite a bit. I don't have a ton to say about it. I just enjoyed it. It was just campy and fun. I like how the female characters are not just love interests or whatever. Like you have the kind of complicated. I think it's the daughter of the king, the one who saves Flash. I think she's really an interesting character. The way she's just like, I want to bone this guy. So she like saves his life and then goes through this kind of like arc. I think she's really interesting. I think Dale, the love interest person, I don't know. Yes, they are love interests, but like I feel like she has more depth beyond that. So
yeah,
like any movie that takes place in like the 80s that has like meaningful female characters in it, just makes me happy. And just adding on top of that, the camp, the Flash that keeps playing that I love. Just I liked it quite a bit. Like I don't have a ton to talk about with it. I liked it. It was good.
That's good enough for me. Clay, how did you feel?
So Matt, know that I love you.
Oh no.
The entire time I'm watching this, I was like, Matt, why are you making me do this? I thought we were friends.
Oh no.
I did not enjoy this movie.
No.
I loved the soundtrack. I loved outside of the soundtrack though, I'm watching it and I'm like, how did they get that actor to do this? the king. I'm like, he's such a great actor, and what is happening right now? And then I don't know. The first half of the movie, I thought I was watching like a sexless porno. Like it felt weird. Like I don't know. I couldn't get into it. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
The second half was better. I enjoyed the second half a little more. But the first half I really struggled.
Right. Well, Clay has to leave, but no, I'm kidding. No. Okay, that's fair. Again, it's one that I really love, and I don't think you're wrong necessarily about what you're saying. The fact that it feels like a sexless porno, because there is some tension, some you could imagine at any moment they're gonna start removing their attire and yeah, that could happen at any time now. That kind of thing. Yeah, Max von Sydow, who plays Ming the Merciless, Emperor Ming. Number one, just to address it here, is a very white person playing a character who is still white. He seems to be, but is definitely inspired by Asian, as an Asian person, by Asian culture. It's very much that. Again, this was 1980. It's not right, but it's to be expected. And I, at least the worst they did was dress him in like costume him as in Asian fashion, and at least there's no darkening of skin or really bad accents going on with it. So at least there's that. But I think one thing that I love about this is that everybody knows exactly the movie they're in, and I think that is very, very important. Brian Blessed, who plays the leader of the Eagle people, I mean, he's a campy actor in general, but just goes all in on his performance there. Basically, everybody does. I agree with Carly that both of the female leads have characters outside of their relationship to Flash. And I think that one reason is because Flash is not as much a character as he is a set piece in this film. He's played by a football player. He's playing a football player, and he's got about
the actor is a football player too.
Yes, the actor is a football player as well.
Oh,
saves the
okay.
world with football.
What's that?
He almost saves the world with football.
That's true.
But the classic football move of laying on the ground and rolling through your enemies.
Right, exactly. And he, again, he's more of a like I said, set piece of the MacGuffin of the film more than the than actually the character. It's the people around him that are really the.
I kept wondering when he was going to get his powers, because I assumed he had powers of some kind. I was like, oh, okay, he's just this cool kind of brave dude, I guess.
Yeah, he's just Flash Gordon, No, he doesn't have
to be brave.
Listen, he's the savior of the universe. Exactly. Topol and Max von Sydow and Brian Blessed, those three are their performances are just so campy. Topol is a theater guy, so that makes sense. Brian Blessed is just always that way. Max von Sydow just really, as Ming, just really goes for the hammiest version of that character he can, which is amazing. Flash rides a cosmic jet ski at one point, which is amazing.
Listen, so my wife walked through as that was playing, and she's like, "Is he riding a
treadmill?"
Treadmill. She's like, "Is he riding a treadmill through space?" And I was like, "I believe he is."
Yeah, it's what it looked like for sure. It's there's a lot about this movie I absolutely love. There are some things that it's like, okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think that really adds to it. Starting with the very first the very first scene, the very first thing that happens, somebody's telling Ming about what Earth is because he's never heard of Earth, but he does have a button that says earthquake that he presses.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even think about that. Like, why is it called an earthquake?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we can move on pretty quickly because Carly doesn't have a lot to say, and Clay, I don't want him to say. I'm just kidding. I do. I want to hear what you have to say.
I did want to say that, and I'm sorry, I don't remember anyone's name in this film. But the leader of the Hawkmen,
Brian Blessed, is the actor.
Brian Blessed, he was fantastic. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that his performance inspired Gimli in Lord of the Rings a lot.
That makes sense.
Because like when I was watching it, I noticed a lot of like crossover there. But yeah, it had some good parts. But it was probably my least favorite of the 5.
Oh man. Okay. So I was going to do this at the top, but now this feels like a real good time to tell our audience. Tell me in the comments which movie you think is going to win at the end, because I'm never right. I never know. I've always been wrong, and usually I'm very sad. But I will say never right. I've almost never been right. I had an idea this time. I'm definitely going to be wrong. I'm not saying I thought this one was going to win, but our rankings are going to be very weird. So tell me in the comments right now which movie you think is going to win. I will pick one person who picks the right one and send them an actual superhero badge. That's from Matty Loves Movies. All right.
Time to go comment.
So we are going to move on from Flash.
I did want to bring up.
Yes.
So there's one. First of all, there's this Into the Air, My Hawk People is. I love the delivery of that. I'm like, oh, you just call them your hawk people. Okay. I was like, they don't even have like a species name. They're just my hawk people. Okay. And another thing is, I heard they were doing a reboot of this, and I'm just like, why? Does that make any sense to you, Matt? Like, why? This is so 80s. There's nothing here for a reboot, I don't think. Like, it just...
I think they shouldn't, but here's the thing. Here's why it's fine if they do, because this is based on a comic strip from the 30s, and that there were a bunch of, there were movies and TV shows about Flash Gordon in the 30s and 50s and stuff like that. So it exists beyond this movie. So I think if they are going to reboot it, that's fine. I think if they do, they should not try to emulate this one, because it's you can't get that. The CW did a Flash Gordon series starring, I can't remember the guy or his real name, but the guy who played, if either of you guys have seen Smallville, the guy who played Lana's boyfriend in like the first season, that guy, he played Flash Gordon in it, and he was just very generic and normal, which is fine. That's what you want from him, but the show was weird, and honestly,
Flash Gordon just screams CW to me. That's honestly
no, I think if they redo this, they have to do their own thing. I mean, I think if you're going to get someone like Edgar Wright to make a very campy version of it, that might be really good. Right. I think if you're not going to get someone who specializes in camp and stuff like that, you have to do a completely different type of movie. So I agree with that. But let's move on to.
I know they've been trying to do it for like a while now. Like, I've been hearing about the reboot for like years and years, so it might not even happen.
It may not. I don't know. We'll see what happens when it does happen. But let's move on to our next movie, which is The Mystery Men. This one came out when I was a teenager, and I loved this movie back in the day. I will say that I watched it many times. My love for it often goes each time I watched, I'm never sure if this is the time that I'm going to be like, yeah, that was all right, or where I'm like, oh, I love it, because I fluctuate on it, which is weird, and I think that's just depends on the mood I'm in, I guess. But I've seen this many times. This is the first time watch for Carly. Clay, had you seen this movie before?
I had seen it before. It had been a while.
Okay.
This came out in what, 07, I think?
No, well, in the 90s, in 1990. Mystery Man. I've forgotten. I think
99. You're right. 99.
Yeah, 99. Yeah.
So yeah, like I'd seen it when it first came out. I think I might have seen it one other time in like high school or something. But yeah, it had been a long time for me since I'd seen it.
Okay. So it'd been a long time for you. I've watched it a few times in the last few years. So and I've seen it so many times. I'm very, very familiar with it. But Carly, this was your first time watch. I'd like to hear some of your thoughts on it.
Well, I didn't break your heart with Flash Gordon, but I do not like this film.
Oh no.
I do not. The characters all annoy me so much. Pretty much the only character I like is the girl that has her bowling ball dad skull thing. Yes, yes. I like her. The rest of them, I'm just like, their powers are so stupid. And I know that's the point. I know that's the comedy. I just don't find it funny. So when you don't find it funny and you don't like the characters, there's not even like I do think I do like the plot overall. Like I especially like the beginning where it's like the corporate nature of the superheroes and like Captain Amazing breaking out his foe so he can get more like sponsorship deals by beating him again. Like I like that start. It's just I don't like the loser superheroes very much. I don't find them very funny. So it's the rest of it just kind of falls flat for me. Even if there are moments that I do enjoy throughout.
I can see that. Mr. Furious is the one that annoys me in this. The rest of them I actually really like. The shoveler specifically, he's so wholesome. I really like him. Blue Raja. I just love Hank Azaria, I think is what that one comes down to. And the bowler is my favorite as well. She's so Jeanine Garofalo is just so good. I really love her. Invisible Boy is kind of annoying to me. The Spleen, I really like Paul Rubens, so that's the character is whatever to me. I really like Paul Rubens. In that's probably where my love for that one goes. But yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see, especially having watched it for the first time in the year of our Lord 2025, that would be it might not translate quite as well as it did in 1999. Clay, how did you feel on on your rewatch of it?
I loved it still.
Okay.
I thought it was hilarious. I can definitely see how some of the characters would be annoying. I thought it was the other film outside of Batman that really just like embraces its identity as a camp film and knows exactly what every character on there knows exactly what they're doing, exactly what they signed up for, and turns it up to 11.
Nice.
I do love the line where he's like when the shoveler says, "God gave me a gift, I shovel well." That I love that line. I do like the shoveler.
I shovel well.
Yes, yeah. I do like the shoveler. I don't dislike the shoveler. I just like the other characters, but the shoveler was the other one that like I was like, okay, he's all right. I like him. He's just kind of a dude, and I like him.
I will say that the bad guys in this movie were more interesting, I think, probably than the good guys. Eddie Izzard playing a disco bad guy makes me happy. Freaking Casanova Frankenstein is just a ridiculous name, and he's such a weird character as a bad guy. I also like a part that I always remember when I think back to this movie, and it's one of the first things I think about, and it's weird, is their superhero cookout that they have to try to
recruit people.
To recruit
people. Dane Cook randomly shows up.
Dane Cook, and this was before like his like big break.
Fallout. Yeah.
No, this is before his big break. This is before that was before he was Dane Cook, and then before we knew Dane Cook was funny, and then before we stopped thinking Dane Cook was funny. But it happened well before that. But yeah, as the Waffler, he's the Waffler. Waffle Man, I am the Waffler. Golden Crispy.
He's got like
that guy's
burns all over his suit, like he's burned himself a dozen times.
Yeah. Doug Jones plays Pencilhead, who has Son of Pencilhead with him. Doug Jones is if you guys like Guillermo del Toro, he is in every Guillermo del Toro thing, but usually under makeup. And then one thing that I noticed this time, and I as I noticed it, I remember that I thought this like the first time I watched it, but then just stopped thinking about it forever. And that is that apparently Invisible Boy's power is not to become invisible, but to become incorporeal, because his clothes fall through him when he becomes invisible, which should not be the case if it's just invisibility. Apparently, he becomes incorporeal, which is interesting. But overall, this watch, I did enjoy it. I just watched Pee-wee as himself, the HBO Max documentary. I recommend if anybody hasn't seen that, go watch it. Even if you're not a fan, even if you don't care about Pee-wee or don't care about Paul Rubens, it's just a really good documentary. So I think I was on a little bit of a Paul Rubens high when I watched it, because I had just watched that documentary. But I do think that people should go watch the documentary for sure. But yeah, it was fine this time around. I still love it. It didn't blow my hair back or anything. I can tell you it's not among my top ones, but it's not at the bottom. It's a movie that I just solidly really like, is where I stand on it. But do you guys have any other last notes on this one before we move on?
I love that Casanova is played by the same guy that plays Captain Barbossa.
Mm-hmm.
And that his weapon of choice is a Coke finger.
Mm-hmm.
I love that too. A Coke nail to fight everyone.
Yeah. Yes. That character is so. There's so much camp in this, but Casanova Frankenstein brings the most of it. It's all just complete camp performance in there. I also like Tom Waits as the guy who makes the non-violent or the non-lethal weapons.
Yes.
I love that whole character. Well, and as someone who you know, a humanist, I don't like lethality. I think that the idea of a bunch of non-lethal weapons and a particular weapons manufacturer who only deals in non-lethal weapons makes me very happy. But his character is really funny, and I enjoyed that as well. Carly, any last notes before we move on?
No.
Okay. All right, which brings us to our next movie, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I actually had not seen any of the Venom movies until right before Venom The Last Dance came out, and then I decided to watch the first two in preparation for it, and I still haven't seen Venom The Last Dance, but I've seen the other two a few times since then. But without a doubt, for me, Venom Let There Be Carnage is the best Venom movie. I have not seen the new one. I just think it's so funny. It's got a beautiful love story between Venom and Brock in it, and it's the perfect relationship movie in my opinion. Maybe not perfect, but it's just a great relationship movie, and it makes me laugh. Carly, I know this is the one you have seen.
Yes.
That you had seen beforehand. Clay, had you seen this one before?
I had.
Okay. And how did you feel about it?
I
Oh no.
I enjoy it as a background film.
Okay.
Like putting it on a second monitor or having it on while I'm cleaning the house. It's a fine film. There's a couple of scenes that are fun to tune into and watch. There's a couple of fun moments. Sitting down and watching it start to finish and actually focusing on it, not a great film, I don't think.
Oh no.
I didn't have a very good time with this one. I feel like the best way I can think to describe it is like an inverse Muppet film.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Venom symbiote wants to be a Muppet, and everyone else is trying to play a serious character.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sometimes there's certain scenes it works and certain scenes where I'm like, that is okay.
Venom, it definitely brings the camp in this in this movie. It's just start to finish. I love every time he just his little quips, his just over the top, constant.
We are going to die.
We are going to die. Yeah, that stuff. Plus, Carly, apparently it's hashtag woke because there was definitely a pride scene.
Him at the rave?
Movie. Yeah. I would like to hear your thoughts on it, Carly, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on the rave scene.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get why. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a good film necessarily. I just love it with my whole heart. Mainly because of everything Tom Hardy is doing in this film. Because I believe he voices Venom as well. Correct?
Does, yes.
Yeah. So everything he's doing in this movie, it's just so much fun. His relationship with Venom it's just amazing. And like the film doesn't even try to pretend they're not a couple. Like there's several moments where they're just talking about them being a couple or saying how, like Carnage and Cassidy, they haven't worked out. They need to go to couples counseling or whatever. Like just comparing all this to like one big relationship. I love how Venom wants to be in like a throuple with Anne so badly. He's like, we need to get her back. We need to get her back, Eddie. Like
I'm gonna flirting with him at the Chinese place is one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
I love when he's like, I'm gonna make you cry. She'll love it because he has no awareness of anything.
I have that line written down. I'm gonna make you cry. She'll love it.
like when he's cooking, when he's drawing using like Eddie's hands. Like there's just like every moment that Venom gets to just be Venom is when this movie's at its best. And I love how when Anne is Venom, he makes sure she has like Venom boobs. Like that was definitely a choice. He didn't need to do that, but
right.
he made the choice to do that, and that's beautiful. It's like, yeah, some parts of it drag, like when they try to focus on the plot rather than like the relationships between Eddie and Venom is when it's less interesting to me. But I mean, I love Woody Harrelson, and you can tell he is having fun. He is having fun playing Cletus Cassidy in this. Yeah, when it hits, it really hits. It's a ton of fun. But it does have those points where it drags down a little bit. It gets a little boring.
I can see that. I'm different than both of you. I think this is actually a good movie, not just a fun movie. But I think that the first Venom is a fun movie, but not a good movie. I think this one is a good movie and a fun movie. And I haven't seen the third one, but I know Carly doesn't really like it that much. So, so I haven't seen it yet. But which I'm going to. I should watch it soon since I just watched this one. But I agree that the relationship stuff is where this movie is at. I think a lot of the Cletus Cassidy stuff is also very good. I think the problem is, and this sucks, but Cletus's woman, like his girl, I forget her name suddenly.
Shriek,
but
I think.
Shriek. The Shriek feels like the one who doesn't really know the movie that she's in, because it's so serious when they are together. And I kind of wish that I don't want her gone. I just want those parts to feel like the rest of the movie that feels. And I think if anything, that would be my criticism. But overall, I still do think that it is a good movie. Carly, I need to hear about the gay pride from you.
Oh yeah, the rave. It's beautiful. I actually went to Pride for the first time at the end of June in Seattle. And it was beautiful. And like seeing that and then watching this, I was like, yeah, Venom would have so much fun at Pride. Like I just love how it's just like he's accepted and like he gets to be himself with these people and they love him. And I am sure
and he loves them. He said, I love you too.
I'm sure they would. There are several that would definitely hook up with Venom if given the chance there. Like
for sure.
Like for sure. Oh my god. So it's beautiful. I love it. I love that scene so much. It's so much fun.
I still haven't ever been to a Pride. I'm a bad representation of our culture. But no, it's yeah. I love that scene. I love him getting to be free in himself, and that being such a good allegory for that community, for the LGBTQI plus community. It just seems too obvious not to put him in that situation. Like, yes, it's very on the nose, but it should be like, it's very perfect is I guess what I'm saying there. I really love that scene as well. Any last thoughts on Venom Let There Be Carnage before we get on to the scoring?
I was just gonna kind of piggyback on what you had said about like Shriek feeling a little bit out of place. Is she supposed to have a glass eye? Or because like it seems like the whole film, like she gets shot in the face and she talks about losing her eye, but it just turned her eye blue. I don't know. I think we don't, that can happen as far as like if she got shot in the face and it damaged her eye, that could happen. But it kind of seemed like it shot her eye out, but then she had a white eye. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not okay.
And mostly
I thought you were
I'm not an eye doctor. Carly,
commenting on the Shriek, Cassidy, is like, I usually love villains that are like in love and awful and messy, but like I think it's just the Shriek half of it that doesn't work for me. Like you said, Matt, it seems like she doesn't know what movie she's in as much. So I feel like they should have gotten someone who knew the vibe a little bit more. Or maybe it might just be the writing of that relationship that doesn't work with me. Like maybe they don't focus on it enough, or because like when they're together, I'm not like, I love villains in love, but like when they're together, I just don't feel that spark that I usually would.
Yeah. They only hinted at the thing that is interesting about that relationship there, which is that her power is what kills Carnage.
Right.
And they hinted at that a lot, but like it would have been like, that would have been a much more satisfying thing if she had to save Cletus from Carnage at the end. Like that would have been more interesting. And if I don't know, I feel like if there had been more of a triangle, more of a fight between those three, it would have been a more interesting and felt more in the spirit of what the rest of the movie was. So I think that probably would have done better. Andy Serkis directed this one, Gollum himself, and I think he did a great job. I think that it's a movie that I really like. But if you guys are good, I think we are going to move on from.
Before we move on, this isn't related to this movie, but I just have to say that the fish tank scene from the first one, I just need to comment on that for a minute because it's beautiful. That's cinema. Yeah. It's literally like I feel like that's the vibe of that scene was what this entire movie was trying to reach. Just that level of unhinged, weird everything. And I just want to thank Tom Hardy for giving us the Venom. He had not gone that hard. There's no way the Venom would have been as successful and the sequels wouldn't have happened. So I just wanted to comment on that because I love even the parts of the third one that don't work for me. Tom Hardy always works. He's always just killing it.
Right. You heard it here. Thank you, Tom Hardy. Okay. Then we're going to move on to the ranking of these movies. And oh boy, I'm not sure where this is going to go.
I'm not either.
There's going to be some surprises on all levels, I think, here. So let's start with our number fives. My number 5 is, unsurprisingly, Blade Trinity. Carly, what is your number 5?
Mystery Men.
Mystery Men. See, I'm already surprised. All right. Clay, your number 5.
Flash Gordon.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Sorry, bud.
No, that's fine. Listen. Okay. We'll get to it. My number 4 is Mystery Men. Carly, what is your number 4?
Blade Trinity.
Okay. Clay, what is your number 4?
Blade Trinity.
Oh wow, that surprises me. All right, so then we go to number 3. My number 3 is Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Carly,
Flash Gordon.
we are Clay.
Venom.
Venom. Okay. I'd like to reveal my number 2 in a moment. Carly, what's your number 2?
Venom. Let There Be Carnage.
Okay. Clay, what is your number 2?
Mystery Men.
Okay. My number 2 is Batman the movie.
Oh my god.
Which leaves our number 1s. My number 1 is obviously Flash Gordon. Carly, your number 1?
Batman.
Okay. And Clay, your number 1?
Batman.
Okay. I think we have a clear number 1 here, which is Batman. We have no ties, which is important, because that kind of a chaos could lead to ties that would cause us to.
I do want to talk about the rankings for just a second.
Just give me just 1 second. Let me announce these 2, and then I'm gonna circle back to it. So, number 1. So our top two deep dives, because we're gonna deep dive and score. Deep dive and score the top 2. Our top 2 are Batman and Venom. Let There Be Carnage. So Clay, let's hear your.
I just wanted to talk. One of the categories we used for scoring for this one was hero rating and like how likely we would be to hire them to save us.
Mm-hmm.
That tanked some of these movies on my scale a little bit. Like, no shot am I hiring Flash Gordon or the Mystery Men.
All right, so our deep dives are going to be Batman and Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Before we do that, does anybody have any last thoughts on any of the other 3?
I don't think so.
No.
All right, let's get down to the scoring. Let's start with our number 1 movie, which is Batman. Our number 1 collectively movie, which is Batman the movie from 1966. Let's start out with the camp score and talk a little bit about the camp in it. I'm going to reveal my score in a moment. I want to go last on this one, but I would just like to say that the this series and this movie is kind of the thing that got me into camp, to understand that sometimes they can be doing something on purpose that feels too over the top, and it's not a bad thing. Because, as a kid, those type of things you don't notice. Once you grow up and start to refine your tastes in things, and you start to recognize the difference between things that are good and things that are bad. Batman, the series and the movie are something I would always go back to as, if they were not intending this, it would be bad. But the fact that they're intending it makes this brilliant. And so the camp on this is kind of almost my origin story when it comes to camp. But I would like to hear from Clay about the camp. What did you score camp?
I scored camp a 10. I don't see how you can make a film more campy than this and it still work. I think it strikes just the perfect balance of knowing exactly what it's wanting to do, being hysterical, and not crossing that line into just being bad.
I dig it. That might be our first 10 on a score on this show. I don't know. I don't remember if I can go back and look at them, but I think that might be our first ever perfect 10 on something for a score. Or at least for camp, certainly. Carly, what did you score for camp?
10. Because, yeah, like Clay said, this movie is camp. Like, when I think camp, I think of what this movie's doing. It's perfect.
I also gave it a 10. It's my first 10 on this show. And I think for the series, as you guys said, again, I thought that maybe mine would be 10 because of how it kind of my history with camp is kind of foundational here. This is foundational in that, but yeah, it's not only just wall-to-wall camp, but it's perfectly executed camp. It's so well executed. I'm with you guys on that. Now let's get to. I will also say that I had Flash Gordon at a 10 because it also is perfect camp for me. But those are so I had 2 10s for the first time ever on my scores. But we're not talking about Flash Gordon because someone didn't like it.
Yeah, Carly.
Let's go on to the acting. And I'm going to start here. For acting, I think for campy acting, it's really, really good. I think if we are considering the craft of acting, not everything is 100% on board. But I still think it's very high. I gave it an 8. Carly?
I give it a 7. And it's so hard to judge the acting because they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing by like hamming it up. But I don't think I can give it a 10 because it's not technically great acting. So I just settled on a 7.
Yeah. Clay?
I gave it a 6 for basically the same reasons. No one's acting is bad. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're playing their parts great. But no one's giving like a super outstanding performance that I'm going to like talk about for the rest of forever.
I would say that Adam West and Burgess Meredith, who plays Penguin, both give performances that I do talk about forever, especially Adam West. But it also, if you've ever heard Adam West talk, sounds exactly like Adam West. So it's, I'm going to be honest. I had this at a 7.5 and then got scared and moved it to an 8. I'm moving it back to a 7.5 because because mine is is higher than everybody else's, and it's still higher than everybody else's, but it feels more in line. So I'm moving that back to a 7.5. Let's talk about the hero rating, and I just have to say that Batman is my favorite fictional character. This was my very first Batman. I have a bust of Adam West's cowl here in my home. It's over by where I sit, and so I had to go grab it. So hero rating for me with Batman is going to be difficult because this is not my favorite version of Batman, but it is still Batman. So I did go short of a 10. If it had just been Batman himself, it would have been a 10. I did go with 9, and I realize that's probably higher than everyone else's is going to be.
I'll go next.
Okay.
I kind of struggled with this one because I had a lot of like clarifying questions. Like, is it specifically this iteration of Batman, or is it just like Batman as a character? Is Batman in my universe rescuing me, or are we in his universe that he's rescuing me? Like, because nothing he does would work in our universe, but it works flawlessly in his. So, like, I still gave it a 9.
Nice.
It was he's still Batman to me. He's a little ridiculous. I feel like if he got a real riddle, I'd be curious to see if he could answer it. But I love it.
Yeah. And just to, and I know you know this, but for the viewers to clarify, when I put out the hero rating, I said you can judge that based on whatever criteria you want as far as the hero rating. But like, it can be how much would you like them to rescue you, or how much you like that character, or whatever the thing was. You could base on whatever you want. I also did a combination of like, do I want them to rescue me versus the character itself, how much I like the character itself. So my rating of it is very, very similar to how Clay did it. Carly, let's hear your hero rating.
Oh no, I'm going to think this.
Oh no.
Just because it's entirely based on if I'm tied up and I hear them coming to rescue me, how confident do I feel in their ability to save me? And it's not very much with this iteration. If it's like Battinson, it'd probably be like a 9 because I'd be like, he's got it handled. These guys, I don't know, especially when I see Robin and the colors, I'm just gonna be like, I don't know how this is going to work out. So I gave it a 5.
A 5.
A 5,
Oh,
yeah.
Carly.
I mean, to be fair, they go the entire movie without rescuing Kitka. So
I mean, that's
Harley's not wrong.
I mean, sure, but
He's trying the whole time.
That's true. All right, which brings us to the overall quality of this film. Carly, I'd like to start with you. What did you rate this?
Yes, I gave it a 7.5. It's very solid. Okay. I love it a lot, but it's not like next level or anything. It's just a fun little romp.
Okay. And Clay?
7.
7.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a good time. I'll probably watch it again.
Again, this is Batman. It's one that and it's a movie that I absolutely love. So mine's probably a little higher than everybody else's, but it is 8.25, which brings our average total. All right. So average on Batman's Camp is 10 because we all gave it a 10. Our average on acting is 6.83. Our average hero rating is 7.6. Our average overall quality is 7.58. And then our total average for combining all the elements is 8.02. 8.02. Now let's see if Venom, Let There Be Carnage, can reach or exceed that. I have an opinion on that, or a guess, but I'm not going to say it here. But let's start out with the camp on this. I actually gave this one. I actually went back and forth on how I was going to grade the camp here because the film itself isn't campy like throughout, but Venom is campy every second that he's in there. So I ended up going a little bit. I had it lower, and then I went higher, and then went lower, and then went higher. I ended up going with one of my higher ones, which was I did give it an 8 on camp. Carly.
7.5.
7.5. Okay, and Clay.
I apologize. I'm going to end up tanking this one.
That's fine.
I gave it a 5 on camp. I feel like it had a little bit of an identity crisis. Maybe there was some directing issues, or maybe it was just some bad casting. But like we talked about, where Shriek doesn't feel like she really knows that she's in a campy film. The cop doesn't seem to know he's in a campy film. Even Carnage, like Cassidy does, obviously, but like Carnage is trying to play it straight, and it's just I feel like the camp was a little hit or miss in this one.
Okay, that's great. All right, so in terms of acting, I also gave this an 8 because I think that the particularly Tom Hardy, and Woody Harrelson all give really great performances in this, and are doing exactly what they need to do. So yeah, I gave it an 8. I will say, number one, just off of what Clay said. Number one, how dare you? Andy Serkis directed this. Number two, the guy who plays the cop, Stephen Graham. Number one is just a great actor. But number two, he did just write and star in a miniseries that's on Netflix called Adolescence. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's 4 episodes. Each episode is real time, 1 hour of it's spread over like a year and a half or something, but each episode is 1 hour of that year and a half. His son is accused of murder, and it's just like 1 hour shot in real time for each of the 4 episodes, and it's amazing. And it does a really good takedown of toxic masculinity. So people haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. But we can move on to what we were talking about, which is the what were we talking about? Acting, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I gave it an 8. Carly?
I also gave it an 8. Just Tom Hardy doing everything, and you add Woody Harrelson on top of that. Yeah, you definitely could have you could have had stronger performances in the other roles, but they just elevated so much for me.
Mm-hmm. Clay.
6.
Okay.
Sorry, same reasons mentioned. Tom Hardy's great. Woody Harrelson's great. I feel like pretty much the rest of the cast was kind of let down.
All right, so now we get into hero rating. This hero bites heads off of people. I'm a humanist. I do not like it when my heroes murder people, so it did drop it. However, I do love how heroic he can be. Particularly, I love how heroic Brock is, or at least how heroic Brock wants to be, and that makes me happy. So I did give it a 6.5, which is higher than I originally wanted to. So, Carly.
Okay, so I gave it a pretty high score, mainly because I'm not attracted to men unless they're monsters. Like if they're monsters, it's like a different level. So if I heard like Venom coming for me and I like saw him looking all creepy and like goopy, I'd be really into it. So I gave him a hero rating of an 8.
All right. Carly gets goopy for goopy. So I can cut that out. I'm sorry, you gave it a what?
8.
An 8? Okay. I am attracted to men, but generally not when they're monsters. Clay.
I gave it an 8 for the exact same reasons as Carly.
He gets goopy.
No, very different reasons.
Oh.
Apparently, Venom has a photographic memory.
Mm-hmm.
He could just recall everything that he saw on the wall. Brock is an actual detective and journalist, and then he's got a good power suite, and I think he'll be pretty good at rescuing me.
Yeah,
and I have no issues with biting the heads off bad guys. So
they're people, but all right, so overall quality. Generally, when I go with my overall quality on my overall quality rating, it usually is just a double of whatever I rated it on Letterboxd, because they do a 5 scale and this is a 10 scale. Sometimes I will fluctuate depending on if I think that if I want to add one of these other elements into it and raise it or lower it or however. But in this case, I just doubled my 3.5 that I give it on Letterboxd and gave it a 7. Carly?
Same, 7.
And Clay?
6.
6?
Yep.
Hey, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I turned it on a second monitor and listened to it and randomly caught other scenes, so it's not like a movie I hate or anything, but it's not blowing me away.
Okay. All right, so our combined average for camp is 6.83. Our combined average for acting is 7.33. Our combined hero rating is 7.5. Our combined overall quality is 6.66. And our combined average for all three is, for all three of us, for all four categories, is 7.08, which means that the winner of the camp trophy for the sports I still have a sports trophy out here from my one with Dylan, and I moved my thing past it and said sports. For the superhero episode, our winner of the camp trophy is Batman the movie. Unsurprising to anyone. All right. Well, there it is, gang. This was meant to be. I'm glad it won, even though Flash Gordon was my number one. On any other week, Batman still would have been my number one. It's just I fell in love with Flash Gordon, and so it was just higher on my mind and higher in my it deepened the feels. So I'm glad that Batman ended up winning. It would have been my guess when before I rewatched them, and I'm glad that it turned out to be there.
Hey gang, editing Matt here. I am cutting in real quick because I forgot to announce next month's movies. I'm being very quiet right now because there are people sleeping in my house and I don't want to wake them. So, but next month we are going to be covering female-led comedies, and we are calling that badge the She-Nanigans badge. And the movies we're going to cover are Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion, Bridesmaids, Joyride, Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar, and Bring It On. So catch up on those movies, and we'll see you back here next month.
Be there. Carly, where can people find you?
Around. I'm here.
Just call her name. She'll come. Clay, where can people find you?
You just need to bat signal into the sky, and I will show up.
He will show up with a bat signal, and Batman will be like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah, basically.
And yeah. For me, you can find me here on Matty Loves Movies. You can find me anywhere on the internet where internets are sold at MattmanXIII. Also, I am producing and co-hosting a podcast for the Infinite Reimagine tabletop role-playing game, the official podcast, the Infinite Reimagine podcast. I am producing and co-hosting that. We just, by the time you see this, we just released our first official episode. We also have an episode where we interviewed Jason Bowman about his new game, Hellfinder. So if you're into games, if you're into video games, board games, tabletop RPG games, any sort of games, we also talk about movies, TV, everything. Go check out Infinite Reimagine podcast. The link is in the description. For Carly, Clay, and me, I hope you had a great day at Camp Film Camp.